Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of The Studio. My name is Adam, and it's time for yet another Q&A. Thank you so much to my studio VIPs, Artifact Percussion, Zero Gravity Percussion, Rob Utomo, Will Flinner, Mallet Lab, Bradley Crowley, and John K. Holter. Thank you so much for your continued support. And today's featured studio artist is Bill Sanders. Thank you so much for joining the studio artist team. And if you'd like to become a studio VIP or studio artist, you can go to patreon.com/AdamTan, or you can click over here. Welcome back to yet another episode. I hope you've been well, and I'm standing up today in front of this backdrop because today is a very special occasion. Ladies and gentlemen, we have just reached 10,000 subscribers on this channel. 10,000 subscribers!
That's a lot of nuts!
Thank you so much for all of your support. I really didn't think we would make it to 5 digits. Like, I was already excited when we hit 100, and then I was excited when we hit 1,000, and now we're at the big 10,000.
You want fries with that?
And yes, before you ask, there will be a 10K giveaway, and it's going to be in studio episode 65. So this is episode 63. Episode 65 will have a giveaway. So today's video is going to be a special Q&A where I take your questions and answer them on this video. So some of these questions are really good suggestions for episodes, but maybe they're too short for a full episode on their own. So I'm gonna answer them in this video instead. And of course, if you have any questions anytime, please feel free to leave a comment down below, or you can message me on Instagram or Facebook. Okay, first question is from Josh Lockerbie, and he says, in your opinion, what is the middle ground of rattan and birch? Maybe something like micarta. I know Artifact Percussion makes materials out of micarta, which is the same material used to make knife handles. And some manufacturers also offer the option of a stiffened rattan, which is basically a rattan that is almost as stiff as birch, but still has a little bit of give in it, so you get the best of both worlds. Next question is from Zachary, who says, have you tried reviewing the Zenith Pros? Okay, sorry. So what Zach is talking about is these, which are the Zenith Pro mallets. So Zenith Pro is Zach's company, and I think he basically made these as his first pair.
Zenith Man.
Right, Zenith Man has given me these homemade mallets called Zenith Pros. Thank you so much. And I think that's really, really cool because we need to see more people making more mallets. I think having more mallet choice is not a bad thing. And if I have to give a brief rundown of these mallets, I would say that they are a lot of fun because they're supposed to be a medium mallet. They have almost no contact sound. They have a really nice tone to them. They're not that heavy. They're pretty straightforward to use. The shafts kind of remind me of Malletech shafts because they're a bit sandy, so they have that sort of like texture to them. Some people like this. I'm personally indifferent because I tape my mallets anyway. And the bottom of the shaft is extremely smooth. It is literally a case of smooth ends make friends. I think these are really nice for homemade mallets, especially considering that they are really neat. Like, normally a lot of people make mallets in this shape and sometimes they're quite messy. I have tried making it, I think, just once in my lifetime, and it was not very pretty. But these are actually really fun to use. So Zach, just for you, here is a sound test of your mallets. Thanks for the mallets, Zach. I really enjoy playing them. Brandon Pease asks, hey Adam, when you started at university, how much did you spend on the gear list? I just got the total for mine and I need a shoulder to cry on. I know that feel. In high school, I had a pair of SD2 Boleros, a pair of Ultra Basic Marimba mallets, which were these red things that were like $5. Okay, they weren't hideous. They were good for $5, but like, $5 is $5. And I think that was it. I didn't buy any serious mallets until I got to university. So when I got to university, I just borrowed a lot from other people. And over the first 2 years of being in university, I was told time and time again, Adam, you must buy all the marimba mallets you can afford because you need to try everything. No. Borrow your friends' mallets, borrow your teachers' mallets, go to percussion shops that are near you and try different mallets. And don't buy unless you're absolutely certain you need them. Now, if your school gives you a gear list of mallets or like, you know, practice pads or whatever, and they say you must buy all of these things right here, right now, otherwise you will not pass, then yes, of course you have to buy them. I mean, what can you do? But if you're not sure, then maybe start with the basics. Maybe one pair of snare drum sticks, one pair of vibraphone mallets, one pair of xylophone mallets, and one pair of marimba mallets, and then start expanding from there. One of the surprising side effects of having less gear in your arsenal is that you actually start to blame the gear less. Like a lot of people I know nowadays, they'll play a passage of a piece or something, and then it won't work out very well, and the first thing they'll say is, oh, I think I need to change mallets. So if you're starting at university and you start with less gear and less mallets, and then you build it up slowly, you'll learn to appreciate them more. Also, I have an older Q&A which answers this question more in detail. You can check it out over here. Isaiah Bennett asks, Ludwig Albert series? The Ludwig Albert series is on a long list of mallets that I wish to have in the studio that I don't have yet. So that includes the Pius Chang series, the John Joffrey series, the Shi Wu series, the Michael Burrett series, the Casey Kendrolosi series, the Naoko Takada series. But yes, I have a lot of mallets and a lot of gear that I want to review on the show. So yes, if Innovative Percussion or Resta J is watching, my postal address is in the description below. Gabriela Casero asks, hey Adam, I was wondering about the height you keep your wrists from the keyboard. What I was taught to keep your hands only about an inch from the board, and I was curious if you were taught differently and which one you prefer and why. Okay, I should probably flash a technique talk disclaimer here, because whenever I talk about technique, I have to say time and time again, I'm not an expert, and please consult a professional if you're unsure. Generally speaking, if your wrists and the mallets are like level with the instrument and then you can go up and down, it's a pretty good place to start. Sometimes if you want like a softer sound, say in like a chorale, or you just want the softer edge of a mallet, then maybe you'll tilt your wrists upwards a little bit so that the mallets are pointing downwards, and then you get that edge sound. That's really good for really quiet stuff. I think another reason why I like to keep my wrists low is because of Steven's grip being like an equidistant grip. The mallets usually rotate the same amount, whether it's the inside or the outside, so there's that too. Esther S asks, do you have any tips on how to build chops for beginners? Thanks for the question, Esther. Now, I'm not a chops expert, but I do believe if you want to get faster at playing, whether it's like a single stroke roll or whether it's like a C major scale or whatever, you have to practice it. And if you don't have an instrument, but you have a practice pad and you have some mallets, you've already got all the ingredients you need. For example, if you keep doing your single stroke roll on a drum pad with your marimba mallets, and you do it every day with a metronome, and you slowly bring up the tempo by like 2 clicks every single day, you will just get faster. Next question is from Steven Yaros, and I think this was around the time of Song and Dance. He says, Adam, having played an Adams Marimba, how would you compare and contrast the bass end of an Adams Marimba with a Marimba One marimba? I think if you were to put the sound profile of Marimba One into like a graph, definitely Marimba One has quite a prominent bass tone, but not like a really punchy bass, more like a round bass. Whereas I would say the Adams Alpha doesn't really have as much bass as a Marimba One Izzy. It's a little bit more rounded out, but it still has a more pronounced bass end than say something like a Yamaha. Yamaha marimbas, I think they tend to be more flat and more predictable, as well as more bright. And I've always found the Adams Artist Classic to have more bass than the Adams Alpha. I'm not really sure why, maybe because the resonators are a little bit bigger, but still not as big and as pronounced as a Marimba One. Michael Arrett says, do you think you could do a review on percussion backpacks? I was looking into it because I tech for a couple of ensembles, so I need to travel quite a bit, but I'm not quite sure which one I should go for. Thanks for the question, Michael. A lot of people have different ideas of what kind of stick bag they like, and obviously it differs from purpose to purpose. So to start off with, if I'm traveling, let's say if I'm traveling overseas or interstate, and I know I need to bring a lot of mallets as well as a lot of other gear like camera gear or music, I usually bring something like this, which is just a standard suitcase. A bag like this is very travel friendly because you know it's going to fit in an overhead compartment. Most of the time they come with TSA TSA locks, and speaking of TSA, they also approve you using these bags for carrying mallets. I also like using luggage because it has wheels and it has a handle, so you don't have to carry it on your shoulders or your arms, which also happen to be the muscles that you use most in percussion. So if you're really worried about getting hurt, then use luggage. If I need to carry mallets as well as some small items like music and like band-aids and metronome or that sort of stuff, then I'll usually bring something like this, which is like a tote bag. This particular bag is from Hit Lab. I'll leave it in the description below. But basically it's just a waterproof bag that is tall enough to fit mallets in this compartment, as well as a few other things. So sometimes if I'm traveling really light, I'll put my laptop in here, I'll put my mallets in here, and then I'll put all my accessories in the front pocket. Obviously this is not ideal if you want to carry a lot of mallets because you can only fit about 5 to 10 pairs in here, but you can also fit all your other stuff in here, so it's a good compromise. The third type of stick bag I like to use is the only real stick bag that I like to use, and this particular one is the Galaxy Grip Bag, which is an upright cylinder type bag, and it only has one compartment, so you unzip this compartment and your mallets go inside. I did a review of this bag very early on in the show, and I still like it to this day, 2 years later, because it is just so handy. You can fit so many mallets in it, it's super compact, super light, it's very durable and very cheap. I usually use this bag if I only need to carry mallets. So let's say I need a bag to put on stage to carry multiple mallets for one performance. This is the one. Or maybe I'm playing a concert nearby and I only need like 3 or 4 pairs of mallets. I'll use something like this because then I can put like a water bottle, an umbrella, or any other vertical objects inside the bag as well. Or if I'm traveling overseas and I'm carrying a lot of other gear, like lots of camera gear, lots of merch or whatever, and I don't have enough space in that rolling luggage to bring mallets, then I'll bring this. Now I have 3 more stick bags. I have a big Firth bag, a Marimba One bag, and a Tama bag, but all of these bags are folding bags, and I really don't like folding bags. Just like the tuxedo mallet bag that you just mentioned, all of these folding bags compress the mallets that are inside, and over time the friction between the mallets is just going to wear the yarn out. If you're unsure and you need a stick bag that can just carry lots of sticks, get the Galaxy Grip Bag. Otherwise, get luggage, because luggage can be rolled along the floor. You save your shoulders, you save your arms, you save all of those muscles, and you can also put other stuff in it too. The final question is from Leonardo Perez, and he says, what types of exercises should I do to improve projection of sound? I want to produce more sound when I play. One thing that I learned from the Australian Marimba competition is that when it comes to solo marimba in a concert hall, it's very hard to play too soft. But it's very easy to play too loud, because a lot of people like to think of marimba, because it's a percussion instrument, as like a massive drum, and they think, I have to smash this wood to get a sound and it's gonna go poof. A marimba bar is just a piece of wood. No matter how hard you hit it, there's only gonna be a certain amount of sound that's gonna come out. So I think aside from strengthening your technique and your exercises so that you can project a clear sound, other things you can do include factoring in the acoustics. So if you're playing in a really small dry room, you hit like this and it's going to be super noisy and super jarring. But if you're in like a nice big concert hall, maybe just a small hit like this is going to ring out in the entire acoustic. It's going to sound fabulous, and you don't need to do any more than that. The second thing to consider is mallet choice. So a lot of people instantly think, I want to play louder, let's get harder mallets.
No! No!
It's very easy to get tempted by getting very hard mallets and playing in the lower register of the instrument and being like, yes, I'm producing so much sound, it sounds so good. Don't rely too much on mallet choice on solo marimba to make yourself louder. Maybe it can make you clearer or speak more in the top register, but when it comes to playing like a bigger sound, that can come from many other ways other than just getting a harder and harder and harder mallet. The next thing to consider is breathing. So whenever you watch any sort of boxing video, or if you've ever done boxing before, or any sort of martial arts, whenever they hit things, they go they're exhaling on every single hit, because by using the power of their breath, they can get more energy through the hand. Pow! You're dead. And the same thing applies to marimba. If you hold your breath and you try to hit like a strong note, it's not very strong. So yeah, if you want to play with a bigger sound, take a deep breath and exhale on the hit, and you'll find that the sound automatically becomes bigger because you're using your natural energy as opposed to forcing it. But yes, before you do any of those things, make sure you develop your technique so that it's nice and loose, so that you can control the sound very easily, and then you can start considering all these other factors as well. So yes, that wraps up today's Q&A. If you have any other questions, leave them down in the comments below. It's really great to chat to you guys again. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up. I would really appreciate it. And just a heads up on what is happening on the studio over the next couple of months. So of course I'm going to be at PASIC, but before that, there's going to be some instruments delivered to the studio. And I'm not going to tell you what instruments they are just yet. I'll let you guess, but it's very, very exciting. I'm also going to be writing more pieces over these next few months. I'm already going to be releasing a 4 1/3 octave solo very, very soon. A brand new 4 1/3 octave solo, so stay tuned for that. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next week for another episode of The Studio. Good night.